short-sighted. I never quite considered it within my 5-year plan to become a stripper. Not an Exigo Nadia of all places. But when a handsome bachelor opens up a club where all the ballers are popping up, my eyes flash with opportunity. Throughout the whole interview process, I didn't so much as get a glimpse of him. Being asked questions and criticized by his bodyguards and strippers, his general manager Felix had been testing my mettle and patience for the job ahead. He recalled horror stories and cultural barriers with some of our guests. Some girls were less than secretive about their partners in the VIP section and what they did for extra money. When I asked if somebody sold drugs in the club, half laughed. The other swore I was an undercover. I assumed my booty, slim waist, and lovely breasts would get me the job. The women were all beautiful goddesses walking around the floor, bitches in the dressing room, though. I reconciled the differences as sirens, leading men away from their hard-earned money. A few succubi were draining them of everything they were worth, including their dignity. I could waltz in and be the most beautiful, but knew quickly many different characteristics would grant me advancement. Most of these girls cared nothing more than drugs, money, attention, and gossip. Even those making the most money were like den mothers, though most of the whispers were about them. None had ambition beyond the pole or bringing in more money. I knew I would surpass them. I cared nothing for prostituting or stripping. I planned to be stripping for a month, at least until I saved up enough to pay off my rent for a year or so. I heard these girls make my rent in a night. 30 days left until I can move out of my slum apartment. The money could be addictive. I knew that's why most stayed. The attention was intoxicating. I managed through the line of new applicants. Sitting on the stage is a large man named Felix Ray with a tall mohawk with blonde tips pieced back and forth. So, I've chosen a few of my favorite candidates. We'll have our boss look around through my selections and see if he extends any cuts to the list, makes it shorter. As I said, we're not looking for anyone right now. We simply host these open interviews because the boss likes opportunity and I like seeing new asses in my face. He exchanged glances with a few girls whose eyes lit up when they heard about the VIP section. I raised my hand high. Yes, Hazel Eyes. What do you want? Felix let out a sigh, pointing to me. You've been very mouthy for a recruit. Excuse me. My name is Rumya Vur, I declare. He was very rude as a supervisor. You already picked a stripper name? That's usually my job. He chuckles, getting the crowd in his side. My mother named me after my great-grandmother. The Vurs have defended the Balkans for millennia. I cut my eyes in disdain as their laughter continues. I sat there staring daggers at everyone around me until I gained their silence. For those selected, when can we start? Felix took a moment looking through his clipboard with a bastard's grin. You weren't on my list, so I'm not sure, but the boss will decide. He rolled his eyes. I like my women a bit more playful. You'll scare off the customers. I'll be on stage, won't I? I say in shock. What the hell do you mean I'll scare off the customers? I came here for a job. Felix laughed. You thought this was to be a stripper? The ad only said, help wanted. We already have enough girls to work the poles. The dance sheet is full. You're all applying to walk around the tables to see if anyone needs service or drinks. If you're lucky, you'll get some action in the VIP or on the side. If you're lucky. Then what was the point of this? I snap at him. I was sitting here in my bra and panties surrounded by other half-naked women in front of this pervert. I may not be a stripper, and even less for no reason at all. An absolute abuse of power. As I said, I like to see new asses from time to time. Get tired of seeing the same girls every week. Not to mention, getting with them is hard as fuck when they all have queen complexes. Sad you can't get your dick wet. I scolded. turning the crowd in my favor as the other disgruntled girls were ready to riot. That's what you recruits are here for, or didn't you know? Boss gets his selection of the vets. We get the pickings of you young vixens. Opportunity comes in many ways. He shrugged as though he had little issue with the setup. Boss deserves it. He's a good man. He takes care of everybody here, and we aren't fond of parasites. I'm also not pissing him off by touching one of his girls. So what is this VIP section for if you can't touch it? Another girl asks. Lap dances? Well, some girls use it to make extra money. We're not in the room, so we can't stop it. Boss isn't a fan of prostituting. Most of the girls don't do it to make him happy. Others do it because they know they don't have a chance with him and got bills to pay. He claps his hands. Done asking questions. Let's close this up. Hold on, I bark. Felix rubs his temple. What do you want now? Who is your boss? Why isn't he here? He was the one I dressed up half naked for, not you. The others chorused in agreement. The competition wasn't so desirable, but the allegiance was apparent. Felix rolled his eyes with a groan as if he's heard the question thousands of times. He looked at his watch, then back at his clipboard. I don't know why you girls even wasted my time. If you didn't know who he was, you wouldn't be naked right now. It's Morgan Ellis, Obata's kid. You all probably never heard of Obata. Many of my allies grew silent as he cut through the intent. I suspected, but I figured this was the best way to make money until a better opportunity came. There didn't seem to be much in Exigo since the atrocity happened less than a decade ago. I was just a girl hearing stories of the great Nadia and a teenager hearing about the return of Exigo, which Balka and much of Maya used to call themselves, but that was centuries ago. It's crazy how history works. I know about Samira. He and his family died in a freak earthquake, so they say. There has never been an earthquake in the whole history of Exigo besides that one day. Felix sucked his teeth. He was hiding something. Boss keeps to himself. He's way too old to be Obata Samira's son. There's more than one Obata in the world. They probably never even beat the man, whether he is or he isn't. You mean he is Morgan Samira? He was such an adorable baby. I bet our kids will look better, one girl mused under her breath. Felix spits in anger and disgust. So all you young thoughts came to hop on his dick, huh? Sad to be you. He's out of town in Urdu doing his day job. Urdu, where he was born and where he lives. He's the owner. He's only here 3 days a week. And the only time Morgan leaves the VIP area when he's here is to pry one of your Johns off of you. That's why y'all ain't getting a job. Y'all come to be thoughts, not to work. Clear out. I have some serious interviews for some real work in half an hour. He had some issues, either with me or the admission. Most of the girls began grinning and giggling, scheming for their position upon Carmen Cruz's man dubbed the most elite bachelor of the year. A new award she created on her budding show for him. I couldn't help my smile looking up to the actual VIP section overhead, affectionately rumored the throne room. A glass-plated box with a mysterious staircase overlooking the skyline and the club floor. I've seen pictures of it in a magazine, but never up close. Alright, that's enough. The boss is not interested in none of you. Hurry along now, little birds. Fly away. We'll be doing callbacks this week. Maybe some of y'all will start. For the rest, I'll keep your pictures close to my crotch for safe creeping. Head off. We got a setup for the night. He claps his hands and scatters the girls. We all moved to get dressed. Felix said we would get used to sitting around in our bra and panties. A few girls wore nothing and proudly sat around stark naked with their perky muffins out about. Felix called those girls over to the side to talk. I didn't mind. I didn't need or want Felix's approval. I hurried off home to cry one off and have a drink. My mom was sad. Patience is a virtue.
Go get my cake, I ain't taking no pay cut, you know that I'm wildin'. It's time to wake up, go get my cake up, I'm breaking the makeup, you know that I'm out here.